Hello everyone, my name is Gabby and I'm a student at Worcester Polytechnic Institute, also called WPI, and today I'm going to talk to you about composting, what composting is, and then how you can make your own compost bin at home.
So what is composting? Composting first starts with food or yard waste that would otherwise be thrown out. So a great example of this is when you have a banana and you eat it, you're left with a banana peel that you could throw out, but a much better option is to compost it instead of throwing it out. And much like how we eat bananas because they make us healthy with nutrients and vitamins, the banana peel also has nutrients that we don't get to use because we don't eat the peel. But by composting it, we can put those nutrients into gardening soil so that the plants can get the nutrients from the peel and from food waste in general. So composting allows for this process called decomposition, which basically means that the food waste breaks down into compost with the help of bacteria, fungi, worms, and insects. And this is how we end up with compost, as is shown here. And the compost can be mixed with gardening soil so that nutrients like phosphorus, potassium, and calcium can be taken up by the plants and the plants can be healthy. So it's basically like a type of plant food for the plants. So why is composting important? So if you don't compost that food waste and you instead throw it in the trash, it ends up getting sent to a landfill like you see in this picture here on the right. So in landfills, a big problem is that food waste can't break down to become compost because it is packed very high piles and it's also mixed with other things like plastics. So it doesn't break down and it just gets stuck there and it stays there for very long periods of time. And ultimately, these landfills are really harmful for the environment and for our planet Earth. And we really want to minimize the amount of waste that we send to landfills. So, did you know that 103 million tons of food waste was made in the US in the year 2017 alone? That's a gigantic number. So, it's really important that we try to decrease or lower the amount of waste that we send to landfills every year. So what are some things, keeping in mind that we're going to make a compost bin, what are some things that you might want to hold on to put into that compost bin? So the first set of things are fruits and vegetable leftovers, like peels, like banana peels or potato peels or carrot peels, and then cores from maybe an apple or a pepper, or even that fruits or vegetables that started to go bad, like maybe a strawberry that's starting to go bad. Another thing you can do is ask your parents for coffee grinds or tea bags. And last note is to take any plastic stickers off. The next set of things are eggshells, and these are an awesome source of a nutrient called calcium for plants. And then the third set is yard waste, which is also called green waste, and this consists of stuff like grass clippings, maybe old flowers, plant trims from like a bush, or fallen leaves that you raked up in your yard. On the other hand, there are some things that you should not put in your compost, and this includes meat and bones, dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt, plastics like stickers, make sure to check your fruit and take stickers off, plastic wraps, and then styrofoam, and then oils, greases, and buttery things. So now let's make a compost bin.
So the materials I've got here are a bucket, some newspaper or leaves will work. Soil, any soil, doesn't have to be garden soil, just old soil will work. And then food waste, and lastly, a garden shovel. So the first thing I did was set down a layer of newspapers on the bottom, But like I mentioned, we could also use old leaves. And then after that, I'll use my shovel to put in a layer of old dirt. So I'm just trying to cover up as much of the newspaper as possible with the dirt. And once that's done, I'm going to add my food waste. I happen to have a lot of vegetable waste. And I also happen to have a lot of eggshells on me. So with the eggshells, since they're in big pieces, I'm breaking it up with my shovel into littler pieces. And this is just going to help with speeding up the decomposition process. And then I'm going to cover up all of my food waste with another layer of dirt on top. And once that's done, I can put a lid.
Okay, so I have a couple more composting tips to consider before you get started. The first is that if you want to add more food waste to the same bin on a later day, let's say a week later you have more food scraps, you just add some more on top, but then after that, cover it off with a layer of soil or leaves on top, and then put your lid back on. The second thing is before you get started and you get your bucket and it's empty, ask a parent to drill small holes through the bottom of it and also through the lid, and this will allow water to drain through the bottom and will also allow air to move through from the top. Finally, give your bin time to form compost. Once it's full, just let it be. Don't think about it very much at all. And after a few weeks or even a few months, check on it. And that is how long it will take to form compost. And while it does take a while, well, you'll know you have compost when you have this substance that looks a lot like soil. It's brown and dark, and it looks nothing like the food scraps that you started with. And once you have that compost, you can just mix it in with soil and add it to your gardening soil to grow plants. So good luck with your compost bin and happy composting.